going to now get started with what I planned for her haircut. She said, be creative. I said, okay. So we're going to get interested and we're going to get started right now for you. Now, when you talk about short hair, you know, I always say we're going to start off with 4 basic sections, and I still do that, even though I'm not going to clip them. A lot of times, you know, when I see my students and we say put 4 basic sections in, on someone with shorter hair, there's really no reason to put your clips in because the clips are so heavy, they're going to tend to fall out anyway. But you still want to have the idea of knowing where the front and the back of this haircut exists. So we do work with our 4 basic sections to keep balance in our haircuts, and we just are going to set it up so that I am going to take my side section, which I showed you guys quite a few times, that we go to where the ear connects to the face when we're doing a short haircut. Now in Sue's case, Sue wants her hair clean around her ears. So just like on a men's haircut, which goes like sideburn to the around the top of the ear, I'm going to go from the highest point of the head, and I'm actually going to go right to where the ear connects to the face. Now I'm not going to ask her to move her mask at this time. I don't have to because I'm only doing my sectioning. And then once we get down and start doing the actual cutting, I will be asking Sue to hold on to her mask when we're actually going to be cutting right there. But as you can see, that side section goes to right where the ear connects to the face. So now that I have my front and my back separated, what I'm going to do is one of the big complaints that Sue had asked, I said, what's bothering you about it? And she immediately grabbed behind her ears and said, these wings back here. So she calls them wings. We're going to get rid of her wings so she don't fly away. So we're going to take that and we're going to get those nice and tight for her. And we're going to build up a little bit of weight. Sue actually got past her, what we call awkward stage in the 3 months that we've been quarantined. So she's actually grown it out where she said her husband likes her hair a little bit longer. When I first met Sue, she had very, very super short, spiky hair. It's a wonderful look for her, and I think it's great, and she could wear it absolutely. But also, I liked when she walked in today with the longer hair, with her natural wave in it and stuff like that. So I don't want to take all of that away. What I'd like to do now is shape it so she can actually grow some hair length in. And that's something that I'm planning when I'm thinking about the haircut that I'm going to be doing. So what I'm going to be doing is, I don't have my board today for you guys. We're going to be doing a vertical graduated haircut in here. We're going to leave it soft around the perimeter, both in the front and the back. And then we're going to take a lot of the weight away in the middle of this haircut. So we're going to do vertical graduation through the back, working our way up to the ear. Once I get up to the ear, I'm going to then ask her to take the mask off, and we're going, not off, but we're going to take it around the ear. We're going to clean tightly around our hairline in the front, and then I'll show you the techniques we're going to use for a soft perimeter around the face. Okay, so I'm going to get started with you on that. When we work with a client, and I always try to stress this to my students, I always want them to be able to use their chair as a tool, just like the scissors and the comb. Our chairs are like our tool, and we need to keep our client as high to our eye level as we possibly can to get a better haircut. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this haircut. Just tilt forward for me. Great. And I'm going to split my section in the back here. And you could see by wetting the hair down, I could just separate it without having to worry about clips. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start by actually lifting the hairline up and away from here. And we're going to cut a diagonal back line, slightly shorter behind the ear, slightly longer towards the bottom. So I'm lifting that up nice and tight, fingers against the head. And that's going to leave that softness for her right behind the ear there. Now, later on we'll come in and I'll just knock off a little bit of this softness down here and stuff like that, but that's detailed work. We'll deal with that a little bit later. Back to the center of the head, coming in, vertical subsection, arm up, elbow up, looking for that short guide that I created down here, and I don't know if you could see that, but there's a very short guide right here that I'm actually going to be cutting to. My fingers are straight up to the sky, and I'm actually bringing it out away from her head. So my fingertips are working away from the head, so we're creating graduation, meaning shorter at the bottom to longer towards the top. Whenever you have a haircut that's shorter at the bottom to longer at the top, you have what we call graduation. We're going to continue that path using the guideline from the side as well as the bottom now, setting up our fingers and working that haircut down into that guideline. Okay, so subsections are the actual sections that I'm taking when I do vertical, here and here. So that is a subsection that I'm working with, and I'm working with a traveling guideline, so every section is considered a subsection of this haircut. Okay, continuing down, seeing my guideline where I'm connecting to right down there. Taking that haircut in a little bit tighter so she don't have the wings. Away with the wings. Again, pointing the fingertips out away from the head, getting in nice and tight down towards the bottom there, connecting to that original point that I made down here. The softness I feel is needed for a female because I do believe it's a little bit more feminine rather than cutting a straight solid line with maybe a machine or something. It's just too masculine looking. So I tend to like to do this for the females so that they have a little bit softness for their haircuts, especially when they're wearing very, very short hair. I'm done with that side, and we're going to eventually, once I do this other side, we are going to go in and we're going to ask and have her hold her mask so we don't accidentally cut it off, and then she's got to go buy a new mask, and they're $300 a mask these days or something like that. So we don't want to break her mask. Don't know if you could see it online there, but you could see the tightness in through behind the ear here, whereas she has the wings behind the ear here. So we took the wings away. We're going to take the wings off on this side for you, and then we'll continue with our haircut through the back. Scoop that hair, turn that comb, scoop that hair, turn that comb. Following that guide, vertical graduation. Only 3 ways to cut hair. If you've been watching us, you know that from a long time ago. There's only 3 ways to cut hair. One length, graduated, and layered. Right now, we just did graduation for you. Built up a little bit of weight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just check to see any of that other hair if it falls over our line. So I'm going to start in the center again here, and it's going to just be a quick check because I don't need to worry about actually cutting a lot off, just to see if something's coming over that line I created down there. Really nothing happening. So I'm going to just quickly go past and just sort of continue that graduation to make sure that it's working with the top area of this haircut. We will be going into layering afterwards. So we are going to be doing a lot of layers through here, breaking that up. But as you can see, there is some more hair following past my guideline. There's my guideline. You can see it right there. So we're just going to take that off. Okay, same thing on the other side real quick. Just seeing if anything comes past my line. Just that little touch right there. Okay. Continuing round. Nothing really coming off. Last section behind the ear here. Oh, there's that guideline. And we'll take that off. Okay. So, I've got the bottom of a haircut the way I want it. Of course, I told you earlier, I'm going to just clean this up and do the detailed work at the very end of the haircut. I want to build the structure of the haircut first, and then what we'll do is we'll then go into the rest of this cleanup or detail type work. I call it detailed work or personalizing for the client and stuff like that. So, at this point in time, I'm going to ask my client to just take the edge of the mask and hold on to it so this way it doesn't fall off the face. And now I have my ear free to be able to do the haircut around the ear. And then once I do that, I will do the other side as well, so this way she's convenient. I found a long time ago that clients are okay working with the hairdressers, whether it be a perm wrap or a color or a foil. Clients like to get involved with their services as they go, whether it be handing you perm rods or handing you foils, or they're okay with it, you know, as long as they're working with you. So you just guide them, tell them what you need to do, and now in the new norm, it's hold your mask. So we're going to do the same idea as what we did down here. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a diagonal section right from here. Everybody see that? I'm going to just turn that a little bit more for you. So now you could see what we're going to do is we're going to take a diagonal back section, very steep, right up there, right to the top of the ear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this hair back. So I'm going to come back over here, stand behind my client, come back with the hair, and cut that hair off. And you can see I'm cutting it short, right to the top of the ear there. But by pulling that hair back away from the hairline, I get the softness I need. See how soft that is around that perimeter? Rather than a harsh line. If I were to have cut that diagonal against her skin here, we would have a much stronger, heavier line, and I don't want that. So what we're going to do is we pull it back into the haircut, then let it go, and it creates some softness for us. What we're going to do now is we're going to clean that right around the ear. Before I go into my vertical graduation through the side, I'm going to pull this ear back. A lot of times students are like afraid of holding this ear. By the way, it bends, it won't break off, promise. It stays on the head. And unlike a mannequin, we could actually bend it and move it where we need to move it. In fact, I used to wish, when I was a hairdresser, I used to wish we could unscrew the ears and leave them on the countertops. And then I'd have a collection of ears at the end of the day to find out who they were. So we're going to just take this right up around there. Even though I want to keep my softness, I want to come up right to the top of that ear. So I'm taking my two fingers here, pulling that hair back. See? And we're going to just clean right around the top of that ear. Okay? And of course, I want to make sure it blends with the point we left here. Now I'm going to take my finger, fold it over, and we're going to clean and connect from that point to that point. Now here's where the key comes in. The reason why my side section comes to where the ear connects to the face is when we're cutting in front of the ear here, we're going up. If I keep going up, I cut into her hairline and she winds up with a hole in the haircut. When we get behind the ear, we are going to do the opposite. We are going to now come from the shortest point here and work our way down. So my arm goes up in the air, and I'm just cleaning behind the ear. And I'm going to comb it a couple of times. As you can see, Sue's section, her hair tends to wave a little bit. So it's best for me to just comb it a couple of times to make sure it's good and clean behind that or around that ear. Every time just checking to see how that hair combs. So in front, do I have what I want? in the back, do I have what I want? And I'm happy with that. Tie to the bottom, and we're ready to move on to the other side. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, again, we're going to take that triangle out, and I always talk to you guys about working with a triangle because we want to always make sure we know the difference between our fringe area and our side area. So then, because the design for the side is different than the design for the fringe. So we always want to make sure that when we do separate for our side area or our fringe area, that section will come down to the corner of the eyebrow. See that? So we always want to make sure that section is to the corner of the eyebrow. Okay? Unless we're trying to make a wider fringe or a narrower fringe, and we discussed that a while back as well. We could always adjust our triangle on top to be bigger or to be smaller, depending on the eye set. So now we're going to take our vertical graduation, work it into our back above our ear. So I'm going to take this from above here, working, again, fingertips pointing away from the face, getting right down tight into that ear area. Continue working that till we get behind the ear. Looking for our guideline from the front. There it is. Elbow up with the scissors, bringing that right down to the top of that ear. Okay. Now, once I get to the top of the ear, we're going to have to change things up a little bit. So, as you could see, the shortness I've created here for Miss Sue, I'm going to now have to blend what I did down here to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this hair and start to drag it forward to gain some length as I work towards the back, just to increase that length a little bit. So we're going to take each section here, start to drag it a little bit forward to gain a little bit of length. And that's how I'm going to blend my graduation into my front graduation. And that looks like about the last one here. Just going to check one more time, see if anything comes over my line. No. So, here I have the graduation, and you could see that it's now blending into my back graduation. We have that shortness in through here, clean around the ear like she wants, and now it's time to go into the other side and do the same. So we're going to come into this side, vertical section, graduate that hair. Again, fingertips pointing away from the head, making sure our triangle is separated. Section by section, subsection by subsection, going into that shorter area around the side. Okay. Last section to the top of the ear before I now start to drag all of my hair forward. So each section from this point there is going to now be dragged slightly forward. And now we're going to connect the back to our side graduation. I could have very easily just done a round layered haircut on Miss Sue, where she just wanted it short, everywhere short. But I do believe that this is going to create a little bit more interest for her and a little bit more head shape. And I do like what I see so far, what's being created. And it's now time to come into the fringe area. And we're going to be designing the fringe for Miss Sue. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually just come in and touch the ends off a little bit here, just by combing it, touching the ends off a little bit, just to strengthen that up. Remember, she hasn't had a haircut in a long time, so I want to keep those ends healthy, even though she wears short hair. But the majority of this fringe is going to be cut with the point triangles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just come in. Lengthwise, it's going to stay the same, but I'm going to just come in and I'm going to create shorts to longs. And I'm just coming in short to long here. Okay, other side. A little too long right there. Almost done there. Okay. Just to check my balance. See that I'm feeling happy with that. A little bit right there. Okay. And that's really all we're going to do with that fringe for now. And now it's time to go into the interior haircut, which we're going to go in and we're going to layer this out. And then after that, we're going to go in and we're going to clean up our nape and check everything as far as details and wrap up this haircut for you guys. So as I did this haircut, we're doing the perimeter first, which we did. Now we've gotten the whole perimeter done, and now it's time to go in and attack the interior of the haircut. What I'm going to do for Miss Sue is I'm going to come in horizontally across the head here, and we're going to actually push this haircut forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a shorter crown area. So if you look from a profile view, we're going to actually create it shorter in the crown to longer towards the front. Again, short pushes long hair. So we're going to push that towards the front. And then we're going to do the same thing through the back. We're going to push this hair towards the bottom. And because she has a wave, we don't have to really worry about too much of the spikiness and things like that. So we have a little bit more freedom as far as the crown area goes. And she did mention to me about the cowlick situation, so I should be aware of that as we go as well. So we're going to just point cut this. Going to bring this hair up. And you see me now dragging back. So by taking each subsection here and dragging it back, that is how I can create the length I want towards the front. If we were to be doing it another way, which I could absolutely do, and I'll show you in just a moment. If I wanted to create this way, I most certainly could have by holding the hair like this, angling my fingers up this way, and again, creating that line going up. I decided to do it the other way just to create a little bit more heaviness through that center area there and spread that hair out towards the sides. Going to come in now, we're going to actually round this haircut off a little bit from the guideline I have in the center. We're going to take that through the sides. And I'm going to first connect it to my top. Now to the sides. You might say, well, Mr. A, didn't you just get rid of the graduation? No, I did not. So what I did was I'm tying in the top here, there, and I'm connecting to the graduation, which is there, but I am not removing the graduation. So it still has a different type of shape than if it's just an all over round layer. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. First connect it to the top. You can see that point right there. Now we're going to connect it to the side. There's the point. Take it off. Again, pick it up. Here we go. To the side. Connect. Pull back slightly in the front, just to leave that little extra. And now we have pretty much what we want to achieve for the top front area. And now we have our crown area, which is again very, very bulky, which we have to now tie into. So we're going to do the same idea. We're going to take it from the guideline in the top. This time though, instead of using just vertical sections, we're going to use pie sections. I'm going to take this up first, connect it to the top of our layers. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that vertical section, pie section, connect it through the back. And we're going to connect right to that graduation down there. There's the short point of the graduation, tying it right to it. Okay, that's my guideline through the back. Take a piece, new guideline, pick it up, tie it to the top first, now through the back. Following the guide from the side, connecting to that graduation at the bottom or at the occipital bone, continuing that through there, picking it up, see if there's anything to reach up here, good, tying it down here, there it is. Connect. One more time on this side, then we'll go to the other side. Pick it up. Always follow your procedures through. If you're going to connect it to the top first, then tie it to the sides, do that throughout. Even if there's no hair to reach, to be cut. Up. Nothing really going. Okay, we're good on this side. We're going to go to the other side. Really just checking the balance through here. Seeing how it's hugging the head area in here, checking the weight. And I think now it's time to go in, and I think that these are, although pretty in the back here, I think they would start bothering her within a week. So we're going to shorten them up. We're going to keep it soft, but we're not going to keep it so that they're going to bother her. You're going to have to read your clients. And when she said wings earlier, I believe she was talking about the bulk behind her ear, which we took away. But I do feel that if she did leave them like this, when she puts her head up like that, you could see that's going to start curving on her neck and start flicking out. And that's when she's going to say, I told you to get rid of my wings. You didn't get rid of my wings. Why do I still have wings? So we're going to shorten them up for you. Just visually, just taking it off slowly and steadily. A couple of ways I could do this. One is I could just come in here, point cut. Another way would be to just come down, closing your scissors as you do it. A couple of different ways you could do it. This is our visual hair cutting. This is where you just get creative. Notice I go in with a closed scissor. Just take that away from her skin. Come in with my points. And we're going to just take that a little tighter right there. Okay. Just softening a little bit. Okay. So that's pretty much one side done. If you're ever worried about doing scissors on someone's neck, always remember to close. As you close, pull away. And most of the times you don't have an oops. Basically what I wanted to do for you guys before I actually go in and do a little bit of texturizing. So let's just recap real quick. So what we did was for Miss Sue here, we did a shorter perimeter design. We did a soft perimeter all the way around. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't realize you had hair all over your face. Okay.
I've been meditating.
Oh, good. We're going to make sure that everything sort of suits itself, sits the right way. Started off by picking the perimeter up, making it soft, then vertical graduation through the back. Tied that into the top area. Again, vertical graduation done with vertical subsections, fingertips pointing away from the head as we go. When you talk about shorter underneath to longer at the top, that's graduation, okay? We did that, then we went around the sides. We did the same thing. We pulled this hair back on a diagonal back section by leaving that. We did that softness around the perimeter. Then we did our vertical graduation. When I got to the center of the ear, we started pulling these sections forward to connect to our vertical graduation, which creates that shortness right around that ear. We did the same thing on the other side there, short around the ear. And then we went in with our perimeter in the front. We designed our fringe, which I just touched the ends off to keep it healthy, but then I broke it up with a little bit of point cut, triangular cutting, and that brought us into our layers. Now the layers are where we took all that weight away for her. We basically did some round layering through here and made it lighter and airier. And we're going to blow dry this now, just see how it's finishing up. And then after that, I might break it up a little bit, or I might like what I see, and then I'll leave it as is. Blow dry your clients, you always see some things that you might want to tweak or adjust and things like that. And you know, again, break it up maybe a little bit with the texturizing. So I think that I'm happy with what I see. I see a little bit right here in the corners that I don't like. The lengths were a little long right there, so I'm going to just take them away. Those little bits. Just feel it could be a little lighter in the fringe area here. You could probably see the triangles I created with the previous, but could break it up just a little bit more. Always better to be a little cautious when you're doing these type of texturizing techniques when it's wet, because it doesn't tell you exactly what they're going to look like when it's dry. But once it's dry, you could always go in and make it a little stronger than what you did earlier. Miss Sue has no idea because she has no mirror in front of her, so she's scared out of her wits still.
No, I trust you.
You see me just putting a little bit of surface texturizing in there. That's all I'm doing, just breaking it up a little bit, just a little gnawing action, taking a little softness, just a little here and there. this is when you talk about personalizing this for your client. You want to make sure that the client's satisfied. And again, knowing Miss Sue and how much hair she likes and dislikes helps to know the individual. You know, when you have a new client, that's tough because you never met them before. You never know what they looked like before or what their haircuts were like before. So it does make it a little bit more difficult. Okay. I'm going to just put a little bit of styling cream in there. Accentuate that a little bit. She could blow it up if she wants, make it puffier. Could do that, you know. Or she could smooth it out. Whatever she wants, whatever her mood strikes her that day, she could do. So
I grew up in an era of poof.
Of poof, right. The puffiness,
We
the
did a lot of
volume.
poof.
Yep, absolutely. So, in recap, I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation for yourselves. I want to thank Miss Sue for coming in and volunteering to be our model today. And I really, really enjoyed doing a real person than a plastic head for you. It's a lot better and a lot different when you're doing a real person versus a plastic head. Thank you so much for attending and being here today with us. And we appreciate your viewing us. Thank you.